Hey everybody, namaste. Danielle here with Holistic Harmony, and I have Santina. I feel like I just sang that whole beginning intro right there. Santina's back.
I'm back,
Yay.
baby.
All right. Better than ever.
Better than ever.
Oh my goodness. Do you want to tell us where you just came from?
I just got back from a week in Miami for Miami Music Week. I was there representing Mix 24/7 EDM. They are a news publication, a music news publication. An adventure to say the least, but got some interviews done, covered some shows, and definitely made some memories. So overall, it was good. I met Alenium. He's my favorite DJ producer, so there we go.
Sounds awesome.
Yes.
Well, welcome home.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yay. I'm happy to have you here. Again, on a Sunday night.
Yes, after a wonderful practice. Thank you very much at Afterglow Yoga.
Yeah, Afterglow. Thank you for coming. I love when you're in my class. I love when everybody's in my class. That class really, I love all my classes. I love all my workshops. I feel like I'm always like, every time I'm teaching whatever it is, I'm like, this is my favorite thing to teach.
And it's like every single thing.
Everything. So I really do love teaching everything that I teach.
I felt it. Like, I felt being away from yoga for a week. Like, I definitely noticed today. I was like, okay, getting hot. Yeah. It
really goes away really quickly. All of the progress that is made in the body and in the mind.
Yes.
Your body is just showing you what your mind is going through. Right? So that's interesting because we mistaken having flexibility within the body, but the body will hold whatever it is that you tell it to.
Right.
So flexibility starts within the mind, which I don't think a lot of people realize.
No. I don't really even realize it fully. So
it's a practice.
Yeah.
You know, I keep saying that. So I have no idea what we're talking about today. I'm going in blind. Santina is taking the lead, and we are doing this because we had so much fun doing this the first time around.
So much fun.
We felt like there was a lot of unfinished things to discuss. And so we've come back again and reconnected a few weeks later.
Yeah.
After the first round. And we're with microphones now.
We're back and better than ever, like we said in the beginning.
Yeah.
I love it. Again, I feel like I need to be playing a keyboard. Yeah. Not that I can play, but I just feel
we're going to start up a band after this.
Wait for it.
Wait for it. All right. So what do you got, girl? What do you want to talk about?
Well, of course, there were so many things that we spoke about that we could go into so much deeper, but I started thinking about how we're talking and sort of being on the journey or in the process already. Right? And I started thinking about, what about the people who are watching these videos, are maybe starting to read books or hear other things or see other people and think, I want to start that journey, but the people who haven't really initiated anything. And I started thinking about different challenges that would maybe stifle or stop someone from maybe starting. And the main thing that really popped into my mind is religion. And I sort of wanted to get your perspective or feel and even remind you of our conversation at Afterglow's holiday party when you were doing the cards. The tarot cards. Yeah, and that was the first time I had ever had any sort of, well, it wasn't a reading, it was
it was a message from the universe.
Yeah, it was just a message. Right. And that was the first time I remember asking you about how you can be a religious person and still be spiritual, and if that had any, if that was wrong, quote unquote, in any way.
Wrong? You're asking me if...
Well, just about how you can be a religious person and still be on this path. Because I think in Christianity, that's, my personal religion. In Christianity, there's so many things that can make someone, if you are following the Bible, like word for word or whatever, that might completely deter you from ever starting to practice in any sort of spiritual journey.
Yeah, totally. I've definitely had instances where I've even done card readings to people that felt like they were really curious. They really trusted me to sit down and kind of figure out what it's about, because that's what I'm going to tell people anyway when we're doing anything.
Yeah.
Is what we're doing. So to explain the energy that's around us, and I make it really gentle and light with angel cards to start. And it's always a message that they really connect with.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes I have no idea what's going on with them to be able to like sway anything or, anything like that. And I just really will guide my words through my feelings and like what I just feel needs to be said. And, I've had people really open up and understand and be able to receive through the way in which I guess I explained the energies to them. And I've done so much research on the energy body and the universe and collective consciousness and so many other things that I guess they just need to be open-minded with an open heart and not judgmental or led by fear, but allow experience and curiosity to really pave the way to make the choices that fit best for you.
Do you feel that people can be both religious and spiritual?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, I change the word God whenever I read it in a class from an excerpt or am writing something like a meditation. I change the word God to universe because I feel as though that's all one. We're all one.
I completely agree. And I was actually explaining that because my grandma, who's, she's 83 and she's a very religious person. So,
Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Grandma. So, like someone from an older generation might not understand and does think like sometimes this thing could be devilish or something because it's something that isn't God or isn't. And I explained to her that I believe that the word universe is used in place of, because saying God is not all inclusive to everyone that can be in the practice. You don't necessarily have to believe in God to be a spiritual person or practicing yoga or on this journey. So if you're saying God, that almost is like telling some people that they don't belong in some sort of way. Like if you don't believe, then we're here talking about God, so if you don't believe, then you're not at the right place. So universe, you can't escape the universe. We all are the universe. We're all part of this. So I was trying to explain that to her, and you said it perfectly. Just that to replace that is it's all inclusive.
Yeah, it's just whatever makes you feel comfortable. I feel like most people believe that there is something bigger out there than them.
Yeah.
There are people, though, that don't, and so however it is that you relate to whatever it is that makes you vibe high and feel good, gods, plural, singular, whatever it is, I feel as though if you have a broad understanding of whatever it is that you believe in and keep seeking for answers, never stop searching for more truth.
Right.
And the more you uncover, the more you can navigate through and figure out what works for you. I was raised Catholic
Me too.
by my Lutheran grandmother and Lutheran mom. And, my grandma took me to church every weekend, out Saturdays and Sundays. I lived in church.
Yeah.
And, I was there at a very young age, and a lot of it was like, what? And a lot of it, I kind of could relate to during certain times. And I dabbled going back to church many times in my adulthood. I've made all of my sacraments.
Okay.
And, I was raised like that. And thereafter, I kept seeking philosophy in college, different religions. I was always curious about like witnesses and, just what different things people believed. And like, however people find unity and love and want to share it with the world, that's all that matters. You know, what you call it, and you know how often you practice it, and you know all of those things, that's proprietary per person. You know, everybody needs to know what their level of awareness is, where they want to be, and what type of practice they need to have in place in order to get there.
Right.
And it can incorporate everything. I don't see why, you know, it has to be one or the other.
Yeah, why you have to choose.
Yeah.
Right.
People just don't understand, you know. I think that's all it is.
Yeah,
and
they're people fear what they don't know.
Yep.
So I know this is sort of a heavy topic, but I personally wanted to learn from your thoughts and your feelings and your experiences or your perspectives, because that was something, which is why I brought it up to you at the party, just something like you said, fear. It was something because, again, kind of what you brought up about going to church and being like, what, to some stuff. I'm still like, what, all the time.
Yeah.
But I know that I believe in something bigger than me that I call God. I don't believe every single thing that's written down as law, you know? But there is that fear, or there was that fear of sort of being like, am I going against my God by practicing or chanting, you know, other things that wasn't in that religion? And it just made me think that maybe other people who are maybe stuck in some way, who have this pull to learn more or experience more or dive deeper, but are stuck in that fear of not wanting to disobey or go against. And so I just thought it could be
helpful.
Topic.
Yeah, I guess for me it's been so long since I have felt that way that I haven't really connected to that in a long time. So that's a cool question for me. You know, so I love that you even thought to ask that. But
sort of going back to the roots.
Yeah. I think just do what makes you feel good. If it resonates with you and it's within your alignment and it's healthy and it's, you know, balanced, do whatever makes you feel good. That's all we can really do at all times.
Right. And going into, I know you personally, you are vegan. So I was very curious about, and I know you said, you know, you're like your personality just is an all or nothing type of person. So
working on that. I'm really trying to be more in the gray areas and balanced, but yes.
Okay.
Yes.
For right now, or at least while you made that decision to go vegan, you just went balls to the wall, went from 0 to 100.
I really did. I went from keto to vegan keto, and I was like, what?
Yeah, what just happened to my body?
Yeah.
I wanted you to share that experience a little bit.
All right. So, I literally learned about acidic and alkaline levels and toxins and chemicals in meats and dairy animal products back in like when I was 22. No.
Yeah, back to that main age.
Right. More probably like 25. But,
okay.
You know, when I went to Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins, I think that was the first time, the last day they had as part of the seminar of talking about how animals were killed and what happens, that they're killed in fear, and the acid leaks out and it gets reabsorbed into the parts that we eat, and then we put that in our body. And I was like, oh, that sucks. But I kept, you know, eating meat.
Yeah.
I was just
because that's how human is that, to hear it and for like that brief moment be like, wow. But then you keep going on with your day to day, because like our brains don't allow that to really seep in a way, because we're not experiencing it. We're not personally witnessing it. It's not something that's, you know, really in our lives. We just have the end product. So it's like, you know, we didn't necessarily partake in those behaviors. So is it really a disservice to just be enjoying, you know, the fruits of someone else's labor, so to speak? You know what I mean? We're not so connected to it.
I think for me, I was like, at that point, I was like, they're going to kill them anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, that sucks, but, again, even just knowing about the health aspect of it still wasn't enough for me to be like, oh, okay, let me, cut down on that. Maybe in the beginning when I first came back, but it's so long ago that I can't even remember. It definitely impacted me where I remembered it,
Okay.
And then through my yoga practice, I just learned so much about energy being stored in the body and karma that, especially after my teacher training, it just became very clear that, the whole respecting of life, and I still have questions about it myself because plants are life too.
Right.
So, I still also am learning, because it's only been since September.
Of course I knew that plants are life, but I just have never even in any way, shape, or form have considered that.
What did I eat?
Like, yeah, like just my bowl of air, like my glass of water and my bowl of air. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very,
plants
very
are life too.
interesting.
So I have them in my house. I don't have pets. I've always had pets growing up as a kid: dogs, cats, birds, fish.
Okay.
But none of which were ever like I went out, picked this pet or got this pet and took care of it. It was mine. Like, I've never had a relationship with a pet like that. It's always been my parents' pet.
Right. Okay.
So, I have plants in the house though. So it's like, that looks good.
Can I have a bite? You done with that?
Man, if I just put that in the pot with the onions and the peppers, that could be really good.
I never even a little bit thought of that.
So if anybody has any insight on what their thoughts are about that part of veganism, I would love to hear it because like I said, I'm learning. You can't know everything. Like I said, the moment you stop seeking, no matter what it is, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
But you also have to take time to absorb the things that you're processing and, applying them into your life. It's a balance, as I keep trying to strive for, like everybody else.
Okay, so maybe if you're not advising people to go as hard as you went from...
I don't advise anybody to do that.
Right. So what would be good transitional... And do you think that you have to be mentally there first to go to physically go there?
Because I had the knowledge of like what was happening. I just was like
ignoring it.
Yeah.
Which is me right now.
All of us at some points, and then you're not, and then you're awake, and then you cruise, and then you learn something else. That's the cycles that I'm always talking about.
Yeah.
So, listen, everybody's got to people are starting to ask me a lot of questions like that. I'm actually glad that you brought that up because I have been doing a lot of spiritual counseling and like, kind of life coaching with people, and a couple of people have asked me like, what type of diet, what should I be eating? And I'm like,
that's different for everyone.
I feel as though take it one step at a time. If somebody has a goal that they have in mind, then start to remove one thing at a time. And so it becomes habitual. And, then when you do have it, it's a treat and you don't need it all the time. And, it's good balance.
Eventually you're not going to want it anymore too.
Right. Yeah. What I've learned about not having animal products is that it doesn't then have the bacteria in your stomach that you normally would if you did have the animal products, so therefore you don't crave it anymore.
Right. So
I'm never like, ooh, maybe for like a brief moment, the texture of something, I'll be like, I find myself saying a lot like, I want a sandwich. Like, I want like a sandwich, man.
Yeah. Like
but I'm like, but I don't.
Right.
So, it's definitely something that if you want to create long-term results, typically you take it slow and build upon. I don't work like that a lot of times. But
that's okay too.
Yeah. People have to find, what works best for them. I'm going to put together a Vegan 101 workshop for sure.
Yeah.
Because that's been like a lot of people, want to know about it at least.
Yeah.
And again, even if you just eliminate something some of the times, if that's what works for you, I think there's no hard, fast rules on a lot of things that people kind of put them on.
Yeah.
And I don't like to even consider that. It's just whatever works for each person. They're on their own path and journey. And if we're all sharing information, sick.
I think that's, like, personally my problem is that, yes, the goal is to have long-term results, but in my mind, it's like I just think of, oh my gosh, forever. That is so long. You know what I mean? Like, wow, oh my gosh, I'm not going to have this forever. Like, I let that get into my head instead of just, like, progressing. And eventually you're not, like, I know that if I just went, and eventually wouldn't want it anymore, but I really allow myself to block. So, I mean, I selfishly am asking you these questions, but I figure that it's could resonate definitely with a lot of other people.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. I did have a thought and I lost it. It'll come back.
It'll come back?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, I got it.
Came back.
That was quick. I think that this whole topic is something that is best handled when other parts of your life are already in good flow.
Ooh,
okay?
I like that.
Because it's really hard to make a lifestyle change that major when you feel unstable in other ways, because you're going to need that foundation to stand on to stay committed. Yeah. And not find it to be the end of the world or, my life's over. Yeah. I can't have meat ever again. No cheese.
Ever again.
It sucks. I really love salumis. And, like, the only thing I can eat there is, like, the salad without cheese. Warm olives.
Warm olives, people. Get them in your belly. I've never had a warm olive before.
You know what? I really hadn't either before.
What's wrong with a cold olive?
Nothing. I guess it's just fancy. It's fancy.
Okay. I'm like, how is warm olive vegan but cold olive is not? Like, no. Okay. I'm like, wait a minute.
No.
Another plot twist in this whole thing.
Honey is not vegan.
Yeah.
Right.
I learned that from you.
Oh, man. Well, I'm spreading the word.
Why can't I think? At the workshop.
It was the workshop? Or
we were just talking about it. Yeah. It just came up.
Yeah.
When I was here for the vision board.
Very strange things. There you go. Yeah, that was a while ago already. How's that coming along, by the way?
I love it. So it's difficult. It is difficult. It's an extra step for me personally because I live at my grandma's. It's not something that's allowed to be hung up, which is sort of the point, So I have to, like...
Why can't you hang it?
Oh, I can't. I don't have anything of mine, like... This is one of the main reasons that I need to go back to Pittsburgh because I need
Santina's leaving us.
I know. May 3rd is my last day.
Oh my God, that's so soon.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know I'm not even allowing the emotions to, like, be present yet. But that's one of it really is. I just need my own space. And I can't afford this state. I can't.
No one can.
I just can't. And, it's very difficult for me to be a creative person by nature and not have that in any way, shape, or form.
It's a must. It's a must. Let me tell you something. Anybody out there who's thinking about building a business, anything creative that they want to really do passionately and consistently. You have to have multiple streams of income. You have to be able to support yourself and create your own stability so that when things are crumbling around you and you're the person to pick up the pieces, you have a stable environment to go home to recollect. Yeah. If you're on shaky ground and you're trying to hold up that much weight, it's really not going to work.
It's not going to work. And I am beyond blessed, beyond grateful to have a family who will let me stay with them, who will take me in, who let me come here and stay here in a time where I needed something different. I've been here 3 years. That is a very long time for a person like me who's not constantly trying to be somewhere else to run away necessarily, but there's just so much to explore and do and see that I, by nature, just, a year is typically where I start getting anxious, and I'm like, okay, that's a long time. I need to learn something else. I need to be somewhere else. I need to, grow in another way. And that's just me personally, that, new places and new environments is something that appeals to me. So for me, going home is sort of like home base, and I kind of in my mind maybe see myself doing that for a year or so and figuring out the next move. But just to be able to go somewhere and know that I can afford to live in a city that I love is very near and dear to my heart, and be able to decorate and do whatever I want is like, I am itching for that right now, because I've been 3 years without, and it has dulled my creativity in a lot of ways. It has played a really big role on my mental health. And that's by no mean, to make my grandma or my family or whatever feel any type of, way. That's not like a jab at them or anything. I'm not saying they are negative to my mental health. It's just to not have my own space and be comfortable in my own energy it's just very difficult.
Yes, absolutely. So, you can't expand when you're being stifled.
Yes. So that,
and not be to fault of anyone.
Right.
Just because of the situation ran its course.
And listen, my grandma's 83 years old. She's worked very hard to have the home that she has. If she doesn't want my, essential oils going around, like, that's her own.
Yeah.
That's her own thing. I get it.
Well, I got the oils going for us, so
I know.
It's good.
I'm loving it. But, she'll make a comment every time I come home from yoga. Oh, what's that on your shirt? What's that smell? I'm like, I know, you just don't get it.
You're like, Nang Champa.
Yeah. Right. And, I get it, but it's just not what I need. And so it's been long overdue and has stayed longer than, I have ignored pulls for quite some time because I didn't want to leave her, but to listen to what your mind and what your body is telling you is so incredibly important. And I hate that we are like connecting more and it's so soon that is sort of my time. You know what I mean? I hate that it happened later when
Me too.
But
I cherish these moments.
Exactly.
I'm like, get over here.
It makes
Don't overwhelm yourself, but come over.
Yeah, but getting now.
Yeah.
It makes them more special, and just to know to come back, it gives something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Like now,
oh my God, you could totally stay here.
I would love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're coming.
Because then it changes the perspective. Like right now, New York is something that's in certain ways negative to me. To come back, it won't hold that same feeling. I'll come
it's
back
okay
excited to
need a refresh and a restart.
Mm-hmm.
You're young.
Right.
You have the opportunity to, and gather all of the tools that you can while you can. When it doesn't make sense for you to do that anymore, you're smart enough to know.
Yeah.
You're always following your heart, and, you're always going to be guided well because of that. It might not feel like that yet, but that's what the crucial part is about building your own stability when you do want to be somebody that can travel and still make money and live and stuff. It's so important, I feel like, to have trades and side gigs and residual income that is going to help support you through those journeys, because if you don't, you're going to be blocked in some ways because you can't be fully free. Right. So that's going to hold you back in ways that if you had these things in place, it would make it that much better and lead you on, even further down the path than you could have imagined.
Yeah. I would like for people to know that running or going to a new place does not alleviate your problems or,
I just had this conversation with somebody today.
Really?
Oh, yesterday, yeah.
Well, I think that that's super important to understand, that just by going to a new place and having new things to explore, at the end of the day, your baggage comes with you. You are who you are. And I am well aware of that. I just know that this change is a kind of like a rebirth in a way, because it's like I really am starting over. You know, I'm letting go of the things that I was not able to have and can do now. And I feel like that will be a place that I can actually start being a better version of the person I feel like I am or want to be. And that's not thinking, oh, a new place is going to change me. No, but it's a new place that allows me the space to be alone and make those decisions without any real outside influence, in a way.
Right. Because that's really what it's about. It's, you know, you're always going to have outside influence one way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
The closer you are to it, the harder it's going to be to not get sucked into that mind frame.
Yeah.
So whatever needs to be done to create the independence that you need, I feel like makes total sense to me.
Yeah. I just hope that if anyone is, you know, struggling or thinking, you know, just listen to your heart, listen to what the universe is trying to pull you to, and just do what is honestly best for you, even if it's scary or big. That's the beauty of life.
I feel like this just came full circle from the beginning of the conversation to the end, right?
Yeah.
Just do what feels good, man.
Love it. Tried.
Perfect.
Tried. Thank you for your insight, though. Like, honestly, like I said, I was selfishly asking you those things because I know personally those are things I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
But I just was thinking about somebody who maybe is so interested but feels like they don't know how to start.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to take steps back because I don't want to say that, like, I do nothing or practice nothing. You know, I do feel like I'm in the very beginning of my journey, like I said in another video too, but I know that there are people who haven't started anything at all and who maybe, you know, because we're living in a time right now where, like, veganism, these things are, and health, like health conscious, or, you know, we're like in it right now. Like, that's actually making some comeback. So I feel like people who are witnessing that are like, wait, what's going on? I've like learned this my whole life. What am I doing? You know, and kind of starting to be like, what's happening? Oh, there are other options. Okay, what am I supposed to do? So for just anyone who really feels like they're starting this journey but has things that are holding them back, I just thought we should go back to the real beginning and give a little insight on how to let go of certain fears or thoughts and just do what is right for every individual person.
Yeah, so I hope that helped give some insight on all of that for whoever's out there listening. And if you have any comments or questions or anything you want to ask us, even, leave a comment.
So fun.
So yeah, so with these microphones, we are also podcasting.
Yes.
So this is the first thing being shot, by the way, for the podcast.
I feel so honored and special.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what order it's going to come out in, but it'll be fun to have. And then, you know, we have the video to match up on the YouTube channel, Holistic Harmony.
Yeah.
So you can see us in action while we speak.
Yeah.
And if there are any topics that you want to be covered, maybe we can do like long distance interviewing.
Oh my gosh. Love.
Yeah, we have to keep doing something.
Listen, this isn't going anywhere. I love talking with you so much.
Same, ditto. Me too.
So this is far from over. It doesn't matter doesn't matter where we are, we'll always be together.
I'll be turning the microphone towards you at the screen,
Yeah.
like, hey, Santina.
I love that you call me Santina.
I love it too.
Yeah, for anyone who's gonna hear this and think, wow, you're over someone's house, she doesn't even know your name. She does. It's Santina, but she calls me Santana, it's fine.
That's our little nickname.
Yeah.
I love you. Thanks for coming to class tonight.
Of course. Thank you for having me and always teaching me, whether it's on the mat or in this chair.
Same. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And everything you teach me.
Mm.
And yeah,
So
till we meet again.
Till we meet again.
Namaste.